Hi, Misha here, and waiting on a video to finish uploading on the main channel, and been thinking for a couple of days it's time to do another Blackbox discussion with you. So, while that uploads, figured we'd do that. Why not? Besides, we have big news today. It rained. Well, the closest we've had to rain in a month. It started to kind of thunder in the background, and for a minute it smelled like rain outside. I'd like to think a handful of drops fell. Yeah, that's about it. But for the next 3 days, I think, the forecast is giving a chance for thunderstorms. So maybe we'll at least get one good day of rain. Because I'm sure none of you noticed. Small thing. But it's been goddamn hot everywhere. Where we live here, it's been over 100 most every day. Today was one of our coolest days. I think it only got to about 98. The highest I remember was about 104. But in my hometown, which is kind of on the other side of the Ozark Mountains from where we live, it's always a little warmer down there. They were always over 100, 103, 104. And I'm quite sure they got dangerously close to 110. And I'm not talking heat index. I'm just talking actual temperature. I'm not really a big fan of heat index because that gets into subjectivity. I'd rather just stick with absolutes, if you know what I mean. So, hoping we'll get more, because not only has it been super hot and not a lot of water for the plants, but the ground is just dust. Which is funny because back in the spring, we had the exact opposite problem where it seemed like every day was rain. Really need a way to, defer literally a rain check. And that would be nice. So, yeah, with the boomer talk out of the way, what's new? Well, in the model world, a week or two ago, I posted a video right after Eaglemoss went silent. I don't want to say went out of business because we're not 100% sure they're in administration, which is a version of bankruptcy. I think it's either Chapter 7 or 11 in the U.S. At any rate, not good. And their websites, in fact, right before I started this video, I checked just to see if anything had changed, and going on 2 weeks now, nope. And of course, lucky me, I had just placed an order. Their website went down Monday or Tuesday. I had just placed an order Sunday. So I guess I'm gonna have to do a chargeback, because they definitely charged my card. Well, I'm sure it was automated. But I can't be the only one. And the funny thing is, even in the US and the UK, the warehouse has to have stock. They're going to do something with that. But I guess since they're in administration, it's probably just frozen. If nothing else, I would imagine eventually, and it could be months, that will get unstuck and they'll try to liquidate the existing stock, just to try to generate any kind of money to help pay off any kind of debts. On top of that, the Chinese factories probably have lots of finished stock over there. Probably they built it and had not shipped it yet because Eaglemoss had not paid them. You know, for the last few years they've been blaming the Chinese factory for not shipping on time. And, that's a pretty easy thing to believe. But now, in hindsight, it looks like that might not have been the real truth. It looks like maybe the Chinese factory wasn't shipping because they weren't paying. Funny thing, you usually need to pay before you get your product. Unless you're Walmart, and in which case, they'll pay you eventually if you're one of their suppliers. Anyway, my point is, the Chinese factories will have a bunch of stock, and they may not wait for the administration stuff to roll out. I fully intend to keep checking eBay, and it would not shock me at all if we saw Eaglemoss looking stuff on eBay, maybe just shipped in blank boxes, kind of a bootleg-esque. Because why not? And they even have the tooling, the dies to make more, so it's kind of hard to keep China from just doing what they want when it comes to copyright stuff. Also, that said, it's been speculated that D'Agostini or someone similar may take it over. And D'Agostini did the Star Wars collection a few years ago, and they were actually very nice models. So that's okay. I mean, again, the tooling it's just a branding thing. I definitely have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I was kind of running out of shelf space, and while there were a few that I really still wanted, like the Romulan Scorpion Fighter, I was also happy that things like the Battlestar Galactica collection, sorry, now I got the hiccups, was well and truly done. The bummer there is that the Stargate collection barely got started, but meh, what do you do? It would have been nice to get more of the Discovery future ships. I thought they were interesting. Some I really liked, like the Voyager J. Some didn't so much like, but I thought were interesting, like the Nog. At least I did get a couple. They had plans to do quite a few more. The one thing that is a little bit of a kind of bummer is I was really looking forward to the USS Stargazer from Picard Season 2 and presumably Season 3. Really, really wanted that. I was also kind of looking forward to the Europa mission ship, the Shenglong. I forget what they call it in the show, but I like the early space travel ships. I thought that would have been a neat one. And just to rub salt in the room wound, really not really. Captain Foley over on Trek Yards told me that not only did Season 3 of Picard have a lot of new ships coming, but also that Romulan fleet at the end of Strange New Worlds Season 1 was pretty great, and I'm a big Romulan. As far as the alien race, that's my favorite. I like Klingons, I like Cardassians, but my favorite alien race ships are the Romulans, and it's kind of sad that there's not more. That's actually what got me to buy the Picard Season 1 collection. There were just so many Romulan ships, I couldn't not do it. I like their sleek, militaristic, but also kind of artsy thing, whereas the Klingons are kind of chunky and bulky, and yeah, anyway. So that's the dealio there. If I could only have two races, it'd probably be Federation and Romulan. That's just me. So, definitely mixed feelings. I mean, my wife will probably like it, less money, but to be fair, Eaglemoss, the warning signs have been there. I remember when I first signed up, and to me, I felt like I was kind of getting in late. I started doing it about 2016, maybe 2015. The Starships collection was already well underway, up to issue like 50, something like that. And so I was playing catch up the first few weeks. And what had happened, I was sick and stuck at home. Wife was working, and I was kind of doped up on code meds, so I watched quite a few reviews of the Eaglemoss ships, mostly, again, Trek Yards or Irish Trekkie, who were about the only two doing them back then. And I had thought for years, when I heard about, little diecast Star Trek, and there had also been some, like I said, the D'Agostini Star Wars ships. I thought, that's neat. For years I thought, that's neat. Young me as a kid would have loved it. And that's about all I thought. And then I just said, what the, I tried to talk myself out of it. You're too old for this. You got better things to do. And then I just thought, what the hell? Why not? I want it. And I'm an adult. I know how to balance. I mean, every month my bills are all paid. My credit cards are all paid off. It's not like I'm in, I'm on a budget that works fine. And for what one new gun would cost, I could buy half the collection. And that's kind of what I did. I had sold the gun and took the profit and pretty much just caught myself up on the Eaglemoss collection. Now that's what I did. I never subscribed. I'm not a subscriber. I'd rather pick and choose. So I made a list. I copied all of them down. I think it was from Memory Alpha, the list. And kind of wheeled it down to the ones I wanted. Mostly Federation and Romulan, kind of as aforementioned. A few oddballs too, like the DY100 that I really liked. So I made a list, and this is going to sound crazy. I called Eaglemoss. I know, crazy, right? And this is the crazy and crazier part. They picked up, and there was this nice African-American lady, like real Southern, you know, like the grandma type, and she's like, oh yeah, I explained who I was and why I liked it, and she thought that was neat. She's like, well, you're actually calling at a good time, because it was Labor Day weekend. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, if you're resting. She said, no, I'm at work. So she gave me a pretty good discount, because of the weekend. And she just went through with all of them. A few of them they didn't have in stock, and she apologized, but most of them they had. And she really helped me out and was just friendly and appreciated my business and was talking about things that she collected. She wasn't into the Star Trek, but she liked DC, if I remember correctly. And, she's talking about her kids and what they liked. We just had a good visit. And more than once I said, you sure you don't want to, I don't want to keep you. And she's like, oh no, it's a holiday weekend. It's been pretty slow. And, well, it was a $600 order. Even with the discount. I think originally it was close to $800, but after like 25% off, it was pretty good. And I got free shipping. And I placed the order, and I waited, and it took a while to get here. And I figured, well, they're probably getting it together. Remember, I never ordered from Eaglemoss, so I didn't know. In hindsight, the wait wasn't really that bad. It was only like 4 weeks, maybe 3. But everything was in the box. Nothing was broken. Everything I wanted was there. So once I got it, I was very pleased. Now, in the interim, I had bought a few that Eaglemoss themselves didn't have in stock. 2 I bought on Amazon, and then I realized there was a place called 3000 Toys that was just up the road from me in Missouri that stocked them, and luckily they had a lot of the ones that Eaglemoss didn't. For example, I remember they had the Equinox, the USS Equinox. The Nova class. That's one I really wanted, and they happened to be. They were always sold out of that one. That's a popular ship. And so by that time, I already had a small collection, not many, but I kind of caught up there. And as time would go on, I would buy most of what they had, but not every single one, especially not every special and large scale. And I would almost always wait for a sale, or at least would use a coupon code. It got to the point where they'd send me a $5 off coupon every few weeks. And when I realized, I thought, oh boy, $5. Well, I'll take it. But I realized it was actually $5 off everything on your order. If you had, say, 5 items, you got $25 off. I'm not sure if they meant it to be that way, but that's how the code applied at checkout. So, who am I to argue? And, it was a really good time. As you know, I couldn't see the ships, and it was really great. The older ships from like TOS and a lot of the next generation ships, I knew what they looked like because, well, we had models in the 80s, and a few of my friends had like the Playmates toys in the 90s. And so I knew what the Enterprise D looked like, the Romulan Warbird, the Bird of Prey. But then you get into the weird ships that were, say, an Enterprise, or some of the Voyager ships, or the JJ ships, although maybe 1 or 2 of those I wish I did know about. Nah, they're okay. And I have to say, as much as I was kind of meh on Discovery Season 1, I really did like the Federation ships. Did I think they fit into TOS? No, but they fit into like the movie era. Most of them anyway. There were a few misses, but considering how many they did, I thought they did a really good job. But it was a fun road. Bit over the better part of a decade. Coming up on 6 years, I guess it would be. This September, it kind of felt like it ran its course. Now, one collection I was able to get in at the ground floor was the Battlestar Galactica. I actually called them and even offered to subscribe, and actually, again, the nice lady on the phone basically told me don't do that. She said just buy them. And she was right, for different reasons. Subscriptions get weird. And that's what I mean. They were always straight and honest with me. The few times I had a broken model, they would pick up the phone, and they kind of started to love me because I was okay with gluing models back. Because sometimes you get a model in and it wasn't so much broken as the glue just hadn't taken or was cracked, and if I didn't glue it back, it's fine. I only really wanted a replacement if something was literally broken, that I couldn't fix it and make it look not ugly. We had a good rapport, and I enjoyed that for many years. It started to change maybe 2 years ago, and it was a little bit. It was harder to get customer service on the phone. It really got to where you couldn't place orders on the phone, and they got weirder and weirder about shipping, and it just, you could tell. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but they started outsourcing their customer service to overseas, and that became incredibly frustrating. It was like dealing with a Nigerian scammer or one of those Indian phone scammers, only for a because their English was so stilted, and that was over email, and I'd try to explain something they wouldn't understand. The biggest problem was the one earlier this year when I placed that big order around Christmas. Probably one of my biggest ones since my original one. It was like $300, and they took forever to ship it, and when they did, they shipped absolutely everything wrong except one. Basically what they did, most of them were from the Discovery collection. They pulled the right part number, but from the wrong collection. Let's say I ordered like Discovery issue 25. They pulled issue 25 from the original Starships collection. Aside from it not being what I wanted, another problem is the Discovery ships were bigger, i.e. they were more expensive. So even though I got a discount, pretty good one at that time on those, they were like $26-30. To get that same ship in the regular collection, which I didn't need anyway because I already had them, would have been like $15. And if this had been one oopsie, I probably would have just let it slide for $10. But to happen a dozen times, I couldn't let that. It came down to the wire too. I was about ready to do a chargeback when, without warning, I got the right ones in the mail. But that wasn't until February, maybe early March. It does seem like around May they kind of rallied a little bit. They had new stuff in stock. I think they finally were able, well, actually I know that because they were able to get a loan this spring. So they were able to probably pay the Chinese manufacturer, and they got a bunch of stuff in. But then it got weird again, and just never really. I'm not surprised. I'm again very thankful that the Battlestar collection was finished and that I got at the same time. That was actually one of the happiest little surprises, because they were getting really bad about sending tracking numbers whenever they shipped. So one morning my wife said, "Hey, you get a package here?" And I said, "I don't know what it'd be. I don't have anything planned." And I opened it up, and it was like Voyager J, and it was the last 2 issues in the Battlestar Galactica collection, and it was something else. And it was like, oh, these are all ones I was really looking forward to. So, huzzah. It's kind of neat. So a lot of good memories. Really glad I did it. But kind of already was feeling like it was time to move on. And I have a feeling someone will pick up the license, but I don't know what the cost or quality is going to be. And I'm sure it'll be at least a year before that's up and running. Maybe Christmas if they hustle. Just depends where the licensing and all that's at. But I really do want those Romulan Strange New World ships, and I really do want that, the Constellation, Stargazer, yeah. It's been a long day. So that's model news. In gun news, a couple of new things. that'll be on the main channel. Nothing extraordinary, no new projects to think of. I did get a few AK-63F parts kits from Atlantic and some Russian mags in, about it. And been picking up a lot of bolt actions lately, or at least a lot of them have come into the store. There was a Chilean 1912 61 Mauser in 7.62 NATO 308. Them I might hang on to. There was an Indian Ishapur Enfield, but it's not your typical one. It was actually made in 1937, which means A, it was made under British control, the factory still, and B, it still has the magazine feed cut off. Kind of interesting. During World War I, they got rid of the feed cutoff, but after the war in the 1920s and 30s, they did reintroduce it to the Mark III pattern. They never reintroduced the volley sights or the adjustable rear sight, but they put the feed cutoff back in. The thing is, in Britain, they've made so few Mark IIIs, you don't really notice it. But in India, I guess they made some. But it's kind of neat. So there's been some neat bolt guns. No real new pistols. Guess we'll just see what happens. Not much new in the AK world. Although I do have a new one I am putting up on the main channel. Finally got my hands on one of the Kalashnikov USA KR-103 SFs, which is so far looking pretty great. You get a Cold Hammer forged barrel, forged trunnion, folding stock, and they really did, if not 100% clone copy of an AK-103, it's well over 90%. Hoping to get out and shoot it soon. Kind of getting back to that heat thing. The heat is supposed to break getting into the 80s, but at the same time it's supposed to maybe storm, so either try to dodge heat stroke or lightning bolts apparently. Yeah, see where that goes. On the animal front, you know, last time I mentioned that we lost little Oscar, and if I'm being honest, I still probably talk to him once a day. I talk to him a lot because he always sit on the arm of my chair. And, you know, time heals, but still miss him. But we've been talking about sometime in the not too far future going to the shelter and seeing if there's a shy little boy cat that needs our help like he was. I know it's foolish to try to get the exact cat, but, you know, just try to find one that needs us more than we need them. That's what's worked out really well with our other cats, like Peanut, for example. The ones that come to you, the ones that need you. And so go there and just see if there's a spark, or if they've got one they say, hey, he's a good cat, but he's been here a long time. And, you know, we'd like, yeah, finding a home. I do need to get another male. I already have Peanut and Hobo females. I don't think a third female would work well. Those two already kind of vie and compete for my attention and affections, and female cats tend to be a little more confrontational. Male cats, either with females or other males, just seem to be more chill. Yeah. So, yeah, kind of getting ready to do that at some juncture. But not quite yet. Need a little more time. Maybe in a month. Maybe 2. We'll see. Yeah. Hey, it is starting to rain a little bit, guys. It's about 11 p.m. as I'm recording this. It's probably just the moisture from the air condensing as it cools off. But any bit of moisture is a good thing. But yeah, just kind of tired. The heat drains you. It's been almost the entire month of July has been hot. And the last 2 weeks have just been literally record-setting scorchers. So, bleh. Time to end that. Yeah, another thing. I talked about the new land. Showed you a video. Talked about that. Here, coming up on 2 weeks ago, we went out and met with the builder, the architect for the cabin. He liked the land. He thought it was a good spot. And we kind of paced out an area. And he said he'd get back with me in a week or two, so probably any time now. after he put pen to paper to give me an exact estimate. One nice thing, since building out there, the lumber will be from my land, so let's say lumber costs quite a bit there. What we played around with a few different designs, but what we kind of came up with was about a 30 or 32 by 30 or 32 cabin. And outside it'll have a porch that wraps around kind of like an L shape on 2 of the 4 sides. It'll be on the north side and the east side, because the west side will kind of faces a drop off, not a ravine, just like it kind of rolls down to a creek, so no reason to have a porch there really, kind of based on how it is and how we're doing the layout. But yeah, I have a wraparound porch on 2 sides, and, 8 or 10 feet deep, plenty deep to get around on. And then inside there'll basically be a total of 4 rooms, 2 bedroom / bunk rooms, about 10 by 12 feet, sufficient. In between those, in the back, there'll be a bathroom about probably 10 by 6 or 8 feet long. And then the rest of the area will just be kind of taken up by what he called a great room, just kind of a living room / kitchen, main room combined. So it'll be pretty wide open. So about 20-ish feet by 30-ish feet. So, about the size of a garage. Pretty good size one. And in there, put a kitchen in one corner and a pull-out couch. I'd like to be able to comfortably sleep 6, 2 in each bedroom and 2 in the main room, just in case. And it will have heating and cooling, moderate amenities, of course. It will, there's of course power out there. Actually, there's a transformer, a box right by it, so I'll have to call and kind of bring that over. I will have to have a well dug, but it's near the creek, so it should not have to go terribly deep. And, yeah, looking forward to that. It's kind of more at the forefront of my mind at the beginning of the month. I pretty much worked on it as much as I could, and now I'm just kind of waiting for time to do its thing. It'll probably be the spring before we can start, because wood will have to be cut and then it'll have to cure for a few months. And I'll need the time to get money together, because it'll be a project, and it'll probably be one of those kind of ongoing projects, Need something new for the cabin, new couch or a new stove. But I'd like to have it livable by next spring at least, so we can go out there. We'll have a bathroom, just a shower, but it'll be a relatively nice shower with tile. And at first I wasn't going to do washer and dryer, and I don't think I'll put one in to begin with, but I think I'm going to leave a spot, since the bathroom will be kind of long, a spot in the bathroom where you can put one of those small washer dryers that sit vertical, like for an apartment. So we can put one in later, because I definitely want to use it, and I definitely want to use it as like a shooting cabin and a getaway. There is internet out there, so I can even work from out there. But if I'm not going to be there, and no, I won't be for a while, one big thing out on the river there with all the activities that are out in that area, people rent Airbnb all the time, their cabins. A couple of good friends do. So I'd like to have it in a position where I could rent it and, if not make it a money maker, at least make it pay for itself over a few years, It's, it'll be pretty rustic. It'll be just pretty much wood with a metal roof, no real attic type thing. Just, it'll be insulated, of course. It won't just be boards in the outside. It'll have windows, because that's kind of the whole point of being out there. Even I know that. What I like about windows is when the air is nice, you can open it up and really get that nice breeze coming in. But once it's done, I'm actually looking forward to having some friends from out of town come out there and join me for a few days or a week and hang out, have cookouts, shoot guns, maybe go canoeing. It's a nice idea. I don't want to quite call it a dream, because it's certainly possible. I mean, who knows if it'll turn out. Life is weird, especially the last 2 years have shown us all that nothing is for sure, but I am going to push it forward as much as I can, And, you know, I guess just wish me luck there. But we'll see. We'll see. It gives me something nice to be with. This weekend, the majority of my family back home are going to Branson, the place also known as the Redneck Riviera. Not really my type of vacation. Right now we work all the time anyway. My type of vacation is being able to sleep in and not have to work. And lately the post office has been giving me headaches and a half. Delayed packages, if you were kind of missing in action, I don't know. And people are like, oh, you ship with FedEx. And then other people say, oh no, I lost things in FedEx. And other people say, ship with UPS. And I'm a little gun shy about them because about 10 years ago, UPS lost a pack. My point is, all the shippers goof. In fact, I was talking to JDI this week, and he's had problems with both UPS and FedEx, much as I have. I don't know. Just be patient. I get customers calling me, and it's like, I understand. I empathize, but I shipped it to your guy. Once it leaves me, it's out of my hands, literally and legally. All I can do is put in like a missing package trace request, which you can't do until about 14 days have gone by. So aside from that, I can only put in a notice letting them know and then wait like everyone else. There's just, you know, only limited things we can do. But I don't know. I've been doing this job for 15 years and I've never quite seen shipping as unreliable as what we've had recently. But hopefully, for my own sanity, it calms down a little bit. Another pray for me situation, frankly, guys. I'm sure YouTube will pull some interesting shenanigans soon. They're kind of due in for doing that. But at this point, I think we're all just kind of baked to the point of losing our marbles down here. Hopefully it'll cool off and the fall will give everyone a little more energy and pep in their step. For now, we're just trying to get by. But it's been just absolutely gross. As I'm sure it has been for where you're at. But that's kind of what's going on with me. What's going on with you? What's going on with yourself? A lot of new videos on the main channel. Slowed down doing videos on this one a little bit just because I haven't had a lot of new models. Nothing really new from Hobby Master. A couple of new things from Corgi, but I've already really done videos on those. And not a whole lot new from Eaglemoss, although I'm kind of finally bringing some off the shelf that have been there a while to show you. But we'll get by, guys. But with that, I think my other video is probably about done uploading, so better go. Also, my laundry in the dryer is about ready to be dry. Like I said, it cooled off a little bit today. My wife's been on me not to do laundry, running the dryer this week. Not to do the... it just buzzed right then. So yeah, I figured I'll take the opportunity to do it while it's a little bit cooler. But appreciate you hanging out with me. As always, if you could, please do like, share, and subscribe. This is Misha. Catch you very soon. Next time.